this super cute bamboo chair. I bought it from a vintage store for $85, which is a great price for this bamboo look, but I haven't been a fan of the dark green or the fabric, and it was a DIY, and you can just kind of tell, and even though I haven't redone a chair before, I'm gonna try to redo it better, so let's do it. The tools you'll need for this project: a staple gun and staples. I used 3/8 inch. A hot glue gun, I like the smaller size for this project. Pliers, and this is actually a painter's tool, but the tip is very good for removing staples from the project. To get started on reupholstering this chair, what we're going to do first is take off the old trim. Now this is just held on with hot glue on my chair, so once you get it started, it's really easy to just pull it right off. And then I'm going to start taking the chair covering, the fabric, off the chair, and unfortunately mine had the original fabric still on it, so I had to take that off as well. So finding the original fabric on the back was an unpleasant surprise because it just made it twice that I had to remove stuff. But here is the cushion on the top, so I don't have to remove it on here. But when you sit on this cushion, the floor is not sturdy right here, but it kind of doesn't feel great. So I want to look at the cushion before I go to the craft store so that I can make sure I buy what I need to. You know, if I need a new cushion, I gotta buy a new cushion. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, this is what's uncomfortable about it, is this. Interesting. The last thing I needed to do with the fabric was to take it off of the seat, and then I kind of knew what I was dealing with, so I could run do errands. I got this paint, a Garden Swing by Bear, for the frame, and then this pretty mushroom velvet from Joann's with matching trim for the fabric. Back home, the chair had all the different fabric off of it, so I just needed to remove all the staples. It took a while. I kept a garbage can handy because there were so many I needed to pull out, and then I took off all of the old cushions to expose the frame. Lucy thinks the old cushion is a good place to sleep, and it's really comfy, and I'm gonna be replacing that top stuff, so it's fine. Here's where we're at with the chair, and this is as much deconstruction as I'm going to do. I was gonna pull everything off, but the more we pulled, the more this crack started to show, and so I've got to try to fix that before I can paint. But yeah, I just don't want to break the chair for taking it off, so I'm just gonna paint it, and then we'll start putting it back together. I use this little syringe which is full of wood glue, and I put it in both of the cracks, and once that dries I can put in wood filler and sand that flat, and then I can start priming and then paint. For the chair, I decided to give it a nice little sanding. There were some rough spots from where it had been painted before. After it was sanded, I gave it a really good cleaning. This is so important before painting. Then I primed it with Slick Stick so it would not scratch off. Without primer, the paint would just scratch off. Then I went on with the paint, and it looked so good and was instantly gratifying. For the chair cushions, I added new batting and cut that out. For the fabric, I ended up going with this really pretty mushroomy velvet, and it actually goes really nice with the tiger. And I want this chair to be made for this room, but I also want it to work anywhere, which I think this does. It's like a nice neutral. Next, it was time to cut out the fabric. I used the old fabric as a pattern, but then I cut the fabric a little bit bigger. I'm using this stripe for the back of the chair, which will look really cute. Then I just went to the chair and started dry fitting all the fabric so that I could start putting it in place. I started stapling it on, but I was not really strong enough to hold the chair in place, so my husband came to help, and that went a lot faster. We just worked our way around each section of the chair. Sometimes I cut the batting a little too big, so I needed to trim that before I could staple on the fabric, and then once the staples were in place, I just trimmed the fabric to size. Okay, here's what I was doing wrong. Number one, there is a guide on this, and with it on, you can't get close enough. I need to clean my floors really bad. You can't get close enough to get this in the frame, so we had to take the guide off. And number two, I wasn't strong enough to staple in and like put weight on the chair, so I've mostly been a chair weight. But we're getting close, and I think it's looking good. We slowly kept working our way around the chair. Now, if we had a situation where the staple went in the wrong place, we just removed it and then kept going. And that happened quite a bit. So don't worry about ruining your fabric. Around the chair front, I had to slowly manipulate the chair fabric so that it would fold along the corner. And then again, I just trimmed the fabric when I was ready. Okay, I'm still working on this, but I wanted to give you a tip, and that is while you're stapling things on, hold up your trim so you can make sure your staples are going to be covered. Like everywhere we went, we found spots where our staples were not going to be uncovered, so we had to redo them, and it took a lot of time and it was very frustrating. But now I'm ready to actually put this on. Once all of the fabric was stapled onto the chair, I used a hot glue gun to attach the cord to cover up all those staples, and it was really hard to kind of control where the glue went, so I had to be very careful with that. For the cording on the bottom, I just kind of hid it in like the little armpit of that chair. That worked really well, but for the back, it was kind of tricky, and I just tried to weave it together to make it look good where it was exposed. And here is how the chair turned out. I'm so proud of it. I took something that I had no clue how to do and mostly figured it out. Is it perfect? You can kind of see a staple right there. It's not perfect, but I'm really proud of it. I know next time some things I would do better. And I just think it's kind of good to just try something. I mean, if I get sick of this in a few years, I can recover it, but I love it. It's so awesome in here. This is my son's playroom, and he loves that it's much more cozy. And I just think it's gonna hold up well to like little kids, and I just think it's cute. So I'm very happy with it. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts in the comments.